Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my live videos. So transfer rumours guys, to give you an update on obviously transfer daily as we do every day on this channel, giving you the latest news about the transfers and all that and what players are linked with Manchester United. So lots to negotiate on this video today, but the first topic of the development I'm going to give you an update on is in regards to Romelu Lukaku. So just going to give you a bit more additional information about Lukaku. So now reportedly Lukaku's proposed move to Inter Milan now could be under threat, due to financial fair play rules. I think Inter Milan have got to raise around £40 million before the end of this month, to meet financial fair play regulations. But now, based on this could be the stumbling block of Lukaku making his move to Inter Milan. But it did come out towards the back end of last week, saying that the quoted fee was around £80 million that, we did want for Romelu Lukaku. And obviously, this is a figure that Inter Milan, would be reluctant to pay. Because obviously, from our perspective, we still think Lukaku is, worth between 70 and 80 million pounds. Obviously looking at his age, he's 26 years of age, he's in his prime. He has still got a hell of a lot of development in him. But Manchester United obviously, do want to sanction Romelu Lukaku off because obviously, the club told him last week that he can leave. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as well has told him that he's surplus to requirements. And obviously, we can't keep him at Manchester United going on into next season because obviously he isn't going to be assured first team footballer week in, week out, because Lukaku enjoyed a difficult second season there with Manchester United because we know mainly that Rashford had been first choice ahead of him. Don't get me wrong, in his first season, Lukaku, did really, really well. He scored 27 goals in all competitions, but obviously, didn't replicate that in his second season. Obviously, Antonio Conte got appointed as Inter Milan's new manager on Friday of last week. And obviously, he's identified, Romelu Lukaku as his number one target. He's identified, Romelu Lukaku as his number one target. But I think now we are looking to recoup the majority of the money that we did pay for Lukaku back in 2017, because we initially got him for around £75 million. Plus there were add-ons included, several add-ons included in the deal of around £15 million. So initially it had risen the deal up to £90 million. Lukaku has still got 3 years left on his contract, and I think he's on about £250,000 a week. But look, I think from Lukaku's perspective, he wants to make the move to Italy. He's destined to make the move because a while back he was talking about his dream of playing in the Serie A. So we do know it came out the other week saying that Inter Milan had agreed personal terms with Romelu Lukaku. It also said Inter Milan had agreed around a 5-year deal with Romelu Lukaku, worth around £7.5 million a year. And it did say Inter Milan were willing to meet his wage demands, and it also said Romelu Lukaku was willing to take a pay cut to make his move to Inter Milan. But like I did say, based on the huge transfer fee now we have put on him, this could be the stumbling block of Lukaku making his move to Inter Milan. Plus now, based on these financial fair play rules, this could be another stumbling block of Lukaku making his move to Inter Milan. So I think Inter Milan are keen on offloading a couple of their players, to try and help fund the move for Lukaku. And we do know before Mario Icardi has been spoken about as part of the deal for Lukaku, but I'd like Mario Icardi, but I just don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is keen on bringing him in. Obviously reports came out saying that Inter Milan were willing to offer £30 million plus Ivan Perisic as part of the deal, to lure Romelu Lukaku away from Manchester United. But obviously Ivan Perisic is no longer a Manchester United target. It was a long-term target under Jose Mourinho, but he is no longer a Manchester United target. It's Perisic. I think if we're willing to let Lukaku go as part of any swap deal, it came out the other week saying that we were demanding Inter Milan's Milan Skriniar as part of the deal, because we know that Milan Skriniar has been a long-term target for Manchester United. So reportedly now we do want around £80 million for him. But Lukaku, like I said, his ratio is still very, very good in the Premier League. He has scored a lot of goals in the Premier League, as I said, and he's done really, really well in the Premier League as Lukaku. But I've got strong reservations about him, when it comes to his footballing ability. His first touch concerns me. He never rises up to the occasion against the big teams. He hasn't got that endless potential. So it will be beneficial if we can cash in for him, because I said it'll help us with our rebuilding process, and of course it will help us with our transition. So that is the latest news on that. But it did say the other week that Lukaku was in Italy. He said he'd held negotiations with Inter Milan's representatives over getting a deal finalised. So everything else has been agreed reportedly, but obviously an initial fee has not yet come to an agreement. But now obviously based on financial fair play rules, this could be the stumbling block of Lukaku making his move to Inter Milan. So Inter Milan will want to cash in this £40 million before the end of this month, so their move for Lukaku still remains alive. So yeah, look, it still remains uncertain what's going to be happening with Romelu Lukaku. So that is the latest news to give you an update on that. But we do know we need a massive massive overhaul this summer, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is working on keeping his imperative players at the club. Obviously, he's also working on bringing the right players to Manchester United, who he thinks, of course, are good enough to represent Manchester United. I think the spending spree we're getting is from between 200 and 250 million pounds this summer. I think that's what we are going to get to spend, and like I said, I think that should be enough for us to get around at least 5 players, of course, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to bring at least 5 players to the club, and obviously wants to full positions where he thinks Manchester United are lacking, because there's a number of areas where Manchester United are lacking. Obviously, at the moment, City strides ahead of us, Liverpool strides ahead of us, and it's very, very imperative that we do catch up with the likes of City and Liverpool. But like I said, I think they're at least a couple of years ahead of us, and I think we're at least 3 or 4 years off from mounting any kind of title challenge. So I do believe at least in the next couple of seasons, our aspirations is going to be that top 4. Our aspiration is going to be that top 4, and I think, our expectations going on into next season, will be probably to get that top 4, maybe win the Carabao Cup, maybe win the Europa League. But any signings we do make this summer have got to fit the culture and the history of the club, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is looking to buy into our history, because he's still in the process of rebuilding. None of this squad is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. We do know a lot of money has been spent at the club over the years, since Alex Ferguson retired. I think, I think £700 million has been spent since Ferguson retired, because obviously, we've had different managers with different philosophies, and I think the majority of the money we have spent over the years has been spent on the wrong players, with the wrong mentalities, and obviously them players we did get in didn't fit the culture of the club and all that. So we've seen players come in, and obviously we've seen players go, but we've got to get the right recruitment this summer. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was saying towards the back end of the season that I still believe we can attract players to the highest level, even though we're not in Champions League football for next season. So he obviously has worked out his transfer strategy. He wants to recommend a number of young players to come in. He's not intending on bringing any short-term players to the club. So yeah, for my own preference, I do believe we need at least 5 new players without a shadow of a doubt. Another problem, we have let far too many players contracts run down. That's been another issue. Rashford's in the final year of his deal. Obviously, Mata's coming to end of his contract. It looks like Juan Mata's leaving the club anywhere, because obviously the club have failed to agree a contract extension. We let Ander Herrera go on a free transfer. That was bad. That was bad for Manchester United. Obviously, David De Gea is in the final year of his deal. So we have let far too many players contracts run down. But like I said, yeah, so that's basically the latest news about Lukaku. Give you a bit more additional information about Adrian Rabiot from PSG now. Reportedly from his own preference, he wants to make the move to Liverpool. Obviously, a lot of teams have inquired about Adrian Rabiot's services. I think Tottenham have been in negotiations. Juventus have been in negotiations. Obviously, Barcelona, of course, have been there. But I think quite a few teams have been put off, and they've actually opted out of the race, based on his salary demands and his, huge, and his signing on fee, of course. So I think initially a few teams have opted out of the race. Obviously, Arsenal have inquired about his services, so maybe Umran May is keen on reuniting the player, because actually Adrian Rabiot, flourished under Umran May's guidance when Umran May, was at PSG. But since Umran May departed, Adrian Rabiot has found himself surplus to requirements. It came out last week as saying that Real Betis were interested in Adrian Rabiot, because obviously it's very imminent that he is going to be leaving PSG this summer. But the very beneficial thing about this is obviously, no team would have to pay any transfer fee for Adrian Rabiot, because obviously, he's coming to an end of his contract. He's coming to an end of his contract as Adrian Rabiot, so you cannot obviously, get him on the free. Obviously, Adrian Rabiot spent the majority of his career with Paris Saint-Germain. I think he's been at PSG 8 years, so he has been a long-serving player. I think he's won about 18 major honours, including 5 Liga 1 titles, so he has done really, really well. He's 24 years of age. He is a central midfielder, so Adrian Rabiot has still got a lot of development in him. I think he had a spell as well with Manchester City when he was younger, so he has been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. I don't think Adrian Rabiot hasn't played for PSG, since December of last year, because obviously Thomas Tuchel had withdrawn him from the squad, based on his refusal to sign a new contract. But it did come out of the media saying that, reportedly, we've offered him a lucrative contract, and reportedly, I think it's a contract, worth up to around £170,000 a week, and reportedly, I think there's a sign-on fee included of around £10 million. Obviously, that does equate anywhere to around £170,000 a week, and reportedly, Man United are willing to meet, the salary demands and the sign-on fee and all that. But I think from his, own preference, Adrian Rabiot wants to make the move to Liverpool. So reportedly, he's willing to turn down Manchester United's £170,000 a week offer, and he wants to make the move to Liverpool. So now, according to recent reports, Manchester United now may not land Adrian Rabiot, even though it came out a lot of news was circulating around the media last week from a lot of Spanish outlets, including Mundo Deportivo, and they were saying, we were emerged as a front runners, to get a deal over the line for Adrian Rabiot. But he is a central midfielder, and like I said, that's one of the priority areas where Manchester United do need to strengthen up. And like I said, if Pogba does leave the club, we are going to need 3 new additions in that midfield. Obviously, we're going to need a replacement for Ander Herrera, and actually, Adrian Rabiot, would be the replacement for Ander Herrera. If I'm right, I think Ander Herrera is actually going to PSG. If I'm right, I know he's leaving on a free transfer, but I think he's going to PSG. So obviously, PSG are going to see Herrera as the replacement for Adrian Rabiot. At one point, he looked very, very imminent. He was set to join Barcelona, but I think Barcelona, turned their attentions more on Ajax's Frankie de Jong, and I think the salary demands and the sign-on fee, I think put Barcelona. So I think Barcelona have adopted him out of the race. But yeah, there has been quite a few teams there that have inquired about his services. It also says that Everton have held talks, over the transfer, as it came out from the Metro yesterday. But reportedly, he wants to make the move to Liverpool. News to give you an update about Thomas Meunier from PSG, of course. I think it's looking very imminent. He's going to be leaving PSG, and I think he's set to make the move to Manchester United. A lot of this, story, could be coming from Thomas Meunier's agent. So a lot of it, could be stemming from him. But according to a lot of media outlets, it does say Manchester United have been in talks with PSG over the potential move for Meunier. It also says that Arsenal have been in talks with PSG over the potential move for him. And I think also Umar himself has made initial contact because maybe Umar is keen on reuniting with the player, because actually, Thomas Meunier found himself more of a regular starter, with PSG when Umar was there. But since Umar left PSG, Thomas Meunier has found himself surplus to requirements, and he has found game time very, very difficult. So this is maybe the main factor reason why Thomas Meunier is set to leave PSG. But it reportedly said anywhere from his own perspective, he prefers to move to Manchester United as Meunier, because it did get revealed that he's been a Manchester United supporter, since he was a child, and I think he'd be fantastic for Manchester United. He's 27 years of age, so he's still got a lot of development in him. I'd say he's still got about 3 or 4 years left in him at least. As Thomas Meunier, he is predominantly a right back. I think he can play in other positions as well, so that's very, very beneficial. He can score goals, he can provide. I think he did say he's set to join Manchester United for around £22 million, so that is a reasonable figure. I think PSG initially wanted from between £22 to £25 million, but he has only got a year left on his deal with Paris Saint-Germain. Like I said, Manchester United, we do need a right back, and I think Thomas Meunier would be the right solution. And looking at it, Thomas Meunier is a much cheaper alternative than Crystal Palace and Wan-Bissaka, because I think it reportedly said Crystal Palace want around £60 million for Wan-Bissaka, and I think this is a fee that Manchester United are reluctant to pay, even though Wan-Bissaka is one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's prime targets. But I think now we have actually prioritised Thomas Meunier over Wan-Bissaka, because looking at it from a financial point of view, he's a much cheaper alternative. Plus Meunier's obviously a lot more experienced than Wan-Bissaka, because Meunier's 27 and Wan-Bissaka's 21. So I think Meunier's about 6 or 7 years older than Wan-Bissaka. But yeah, I think we're still in there for Wan-Bissaka. Like I said, I do really, really like Wan-Bissaka. He's proven in the Premier League, but he only broke into the Crystal Palace's senior squad about 15 months ago, and I think he's gone on to make 40 senior appearances. I think it came out, was it last week, saying that we had submitted a bid of around £25 million for Wan-Bissaka, but obviously this figure is not going to be enough to convince Crystal Palace to let him go. The quoted fees from between £60 to £70 million that Crystal Palace do want. He's still got 3 years left on his contract with Crystal Palace, and I think he's regarded as one of the best right backs in the Premier League, is Wan-Bissaka. So he's obviously been on Manchester United's agenda for quite some time. But yeah, I love Meunier to come in, and his move now to Manchester United is looking very imminent according to reports. Some of it could just be some of it could just be rumours going on. Like I said, it's not always trustworthy. Some of this could be coming from his agent, as I said. But Meunier could be coming to Manchester United in a deal with £22 million. But I think Meunier would be a great replacement for Antonio Valencia, because we know Valencia is leaving the club. Obviously, Valencia served 10 years at Manchester United. It remains uncertain, where Valencia's next destination is going to be anywhere. It'd be a great upgrade to Ashley Young as well. Will Thomas Mooney, I think Ashley Young is going to be getting the captaincy at Manchester United next season. Don't ask me why. What leadership has Ashley Young shown? He shouldn't even be at Manchester United. But anyway, Mooney is going to be a good upgrade to Ashley Young. I think he'll also be a great cover-up for Diego Dalot. And I like Diego Dalot, but he's only 19 years of age. He's still a bit inexperienced at the moment, is Diego Dalot. He's the upcoming future, is Diego Dalot. How old is he now? Is he 19 or is he 20 years of age? Obviously, we got Dalot last summer from Porto. Was it for around £19 million? But yeah, I think Thomas Meunier, would be absolutely fantastic for Manchester United. But it has been Manchester United and Arsenal, of course, that have been in for him. Latest news about Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon. Now, I think we want to finalise a deal for Bruno Fernandes sometime this weekend, of course, because obviously, the news came out about this towards the back end of last week, saying that we want to, finalise a deal for Bruno Fernandes by the end of next week, and obviously, we're in this week now, so we want to finalise a deal for Bruno Fernandes, sometime this week. I think we're getting him in a deal worth around £70 million, because reportedly we are willing to pay up to £70 million for Bruno Fernandes' services. Well, it's anything from between 62 to 70 million pounds. Obviously, City are not willing to offer, what Manchester United are offering. I think it did say City had submitted a bid of around, I think 40 odd million pounds, but it did say City willing to offload a couple of their players as part of the deal. But now, according to a baller, the Portuguese press, they are saying now we are emerged as the front runners to currently get the players' signature. And I like Bruno Fernandes a lot. He's 24 years of age. He has still got a hell of a lot of development in him, and I do believe he's got all the attributes, to succeed in the Premier League, and he definitely exceed expectation levels in the Premier League with Bruno Fernandes. But it has been Manchester United and Manchester City that have been battling it out for him. Like I said, I think he wants to take his footballing career to the next level anyway, and if he comes to the Premier League, that will do that. But I really like him, Bruno Fernandes. I think he's under contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023. His initial release clause is around £86 million, but obviously, us or City are not willing to trigger him. His release clause, obviously, we've blatantly, made that clear. But Bruno Fernandes is primarily an attacking midfielder, and I do really like him indeed. And obviously, if Paul Pogba was to leave Manchester United, Bruno Fernandes would actually be the adequate replacement. Obviously, a player of Bruno Fernandes' calibre, obviously the more attractive option for him, would be Manchester City, because obviously City are strides ahead of us at the moment. They can offer him like Champions League football and all that. Obviously, Manchester United can't. But I think we're going to get a deal over the line for him, because the Portuguese press does say we are emerged as the front runners. Bruno Fernandes, I think came out, was it sometime last week, and made an admission and give us an update on his future. He said he still remains uncertain about his future. He said he doesn't know where his future lies. He did say he doesn't know if he's going to be leaving Sporting Lisbon, but he has refused to rule out and move to the Premier League. But I think he'd be fantastic in the Premier League. He'd come with that hunger, he'd come with that desire. He'd also add depth in our midfield, and I think he'd be fantastic. But Bruno Fernandes, he's got goals in him, he's got assists in him, and I think he's been at Sporting Lisbon a couple of seasons, and I do believe he would produce. I think if he came to Premier League, he would produce and deliver the same element of the performances that he has been doing in his couple of years with Sporting Lisbon. Obviously, had a lot of experience playing in Italy, when he was younger, with the likes of San Pandora and underneath, Bruno Fernandes. So he's moved to Manchester United now. According to recent reports, he's looking very, very imminent indeed to want to get this deal finalised sometime this week. So that is very, very good news. I think also Bruno Fernandes did obviously come out in the press, and I think he did deny having any negotiation with Manchester United over the potential move to Old Trafford, but he has been on Manchester United's agenda now for quite some time. News about Matthias de Ligt. I don't think much more is updated about him, to be quite honest with you. Matthias de Ligt did confirm, was it, he's set to inform Manchester United about a decision on his future in the coming days, as he was saying. Obviously, as it come out yesterday, though, the former Manchester United manager, Louis van Gaal, he came out and actually, urged Matthias de Ligt, to join Manchester City and turn down Manchester United, of course. But I don't, Matthias de Ligt's future is up in the air at the moment. I don't think, he knows what he wants to do I don't think he knows where his future lies. It's still looking very, very imminent, that he's going to be leaving Ajax, but he still remains uncertain at the moment where he will be applying his trade next season. There is still some reports speculating out saying that Barcelona are the favourites, to currently get the player's signature, even though it did come out, was it during the weekend or was it towards the back end of last week? Well, I think it was actually last week, and it did basically say that talks between Barcelona and Matthias de Ligt had currently stalled. The main factor reason why this occurred was because because obviously, Barcelona were not willing to meet the terms, and obviously they were not willing to increase their offer. So basically, they were not willing to meet what De Ligt was demanding and what his agent Raiola was demanding. But we do know a lot of teams have inquired about his services. Obviously, Liverpool have been in there, Manchester City have been in there. City are looking for a replacement for Vincent Kompany. It does say Bayern Munich have been in there. Also, PSG have been in there. But we do know, at least in the last couple of months, that Barcelona have been in the ascendancy of getting a deal over the line for Matthijs de Ligt. Obviously, it only came out from Sky Sports, was it just over a week ago, saying he's set to join Barcelona. And I think, Matthijs de Ligt had made an admission saying his actually, preferred destination was Barcelona. Obviously, Barcelona have already got a deal over the line for his current teammate, Frankie de Jong. Obviously, Barcelona agreed an initial £65 million deal with Ajax, for Frankie de Jong. And but yeah, there has been quite a few teams interested. He has been widely spoken about throughout the course of this window. But I think, from Matthijs de Ligt's perspective, he's very, very excited about his future. He has admitted that he has several options on the table, so he is aware of the speculation. But in terms of the transfer fees, Matthijs de Ligt's going to cost you from between probably 65 or 70 million pounds, maybe 75 million pounds at the tops. And I think it did say Manchester United put a bid in for him of around 70 million pounds. But it did confirm that we are willing to outbid any other teams to get his services. It did say we are willing to offer him a contract, worth up to £350,000 a week. Obviously, this almost equates to around £17 million a year. And obviously, if this was to process, this would make Matthijs de Ligt one of the highest paid players at Manchester United. I think it'd actually make him the second highest paid player at Manchester United, just behind Sanchez. And obviously, make him the highest paid teenager in world football. So I think it did say, at least in the last 4 or 5 days, that we have been emerged as the front runners, to get a deal over the line for Matthijs de Ligt. It also came out saying that, it came out from the media saying that Matthijs de Ligt came out with 2 transfer demands, obviously, requiring more money, and he wants a first team football guaranteed. And obviously, these are 2 demands definitely Manchester United can meet. Obviously, first team football, would be much easier for Matthijs de Ligt at Manchester United, than it would be at Barcelona, because Barcelona, couldn't guarantee, Matthijs de Ligt first team football. I think, Manchester United could without a shadow of a doubt. And and we're willing to meet what he's demanding and what his agent Raiola is demanding. But I really, really like Matthijs de Ligt a lot. Only 19 years of age. I think he's been Ajax's his captain since the age of 18. I think he made his senior debut at just the age of 17. Did Matthijs de Ligt, but he has become an integral part of Ajax's squad. He obviously so far has spent the entirety of his career there. Obviously, Ajax had a really, really good they had a good season last season, winning the domestic double for the first time in 17 years, winning their devised title for the first time in 5 years, and of course progressing to the Champions League semi-final. But I'd love Matthijs de Ligt to come. Him coming to the Premier League is going to definitely take his career to the next level, and I think he'd blend in very, very well in our back line alongside Victor Lindelof. I did say we need 2 central defenders, but I think Matthijs de Ligt would be fantastic for Manchester United indeed. So I think he's set to inform Manchester United about his decision in the coming days. I think this was published a couple of days ago, so he could make a decision today or it may be tomorrow. But I will keep up, you up to date about the news about Matthijs de Ligt. But I think, like I said, I think we've identified him now as our number 1 target. But it's definitely looking likely he's going to be leaving Ajax. Of course, I think it also came out quite a few weeks back saying that we'd offered Matthijs de Ligt around a 12 million a year contract, but reportedly he had turned this down. So that is the latest news about Matthijs de Ligt, because I think, Smalling and Jones, like I said about them, they've been too long serving players at the club, and I said they're no longer good enough to represent Manchester United. Smalling's been here 9 years, Jones has been here 8 years, and comparing them, Smalling's a much better defender than Phil Jones. And in this 8-year period, they have demonstrated, that they can play well and that they can hold their line very, very well, but they're no longer good enough to represent Manchester United, and this is why I said we need 2 central defenders. I think Rojo and Darmian, like I said, should be going this summer as well. So I think an estimated guess, we can get around 25 or 30 million pounds, for Matteo Darmian and Marcus Rojo. So I think we need 2 central defenders, but definitely Matthijs de Ligt, would be the right solution there for Manchester United. And I know we can't offer him Champions League football for next season. Barcelona could, but I don't think that's going to have an effect on Matthijs de Ligt making a move to Manchester United. And talking about Paul Pogba, as has been giving you an update about Paul Pogba, regularly, because we do know he's moved to Real Madrid. He's been looking very, very imminent indeed. But now, as it did come out, was it last week, saying that Paul Pogba to Real Madrid, he's practically done. It did basically say that Paul Pogba's agreed a massive pay cut, to make his move to Real Madrid. So it did say his salary is set to reduce from 13 million a year to 10 million pounds a year. So his wages were set to drop by around 3 million pounds. Potentially, Manchester United don't even want to lose Paul Pogba, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows how much of an imperative player Paul Pogba is. So Zinedine Zidane, obviously, it's his main. Well, he's got his two main targets. Obviously, Paul Pogba and Chelsea and Hazard, but obviously he's got a lot of other targets on his agenda. So Zinedine Zidane obviously instructed his Real Madrid board, to prioritise a transfer, for Paul Pogba, because obviously Zinedine Zidane wants to put Paul Pogba, alongside Casemiro in his midfield as Zinedine Zidane. But Paul Pogba's still got 3 years left on his contract with Manchester United, and I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is doing everything he can, to try and convince Paul Pogba to remain at the football club. Obviously, it came out the other week, saying that we're willing to offer him the captaincy in a bid to convince him to stay at Manchester United. But obviously, we paid £89 million for him. Obviously, our most expensive signing, of course. Like I said, always spending big on players and getting them Glasgow players doesn't always guarantee you success. And obviously, we've got a history of spending big on players, especially in recent years. Prime example, Lukaku, 75 million. Paul Pogba, 89 million. Let's be honest, Paul Pogba hasn't really exceeded expectation levels at Manchester United, as we all thought he would have done, regarding what he did in his 4 years there with Juventus, because he did have 4 good years in Chervin, but he hasn't really replicated this form at Manchester United. But now there's a possibility chance that Paul Pogba, could remain at the football club, obviously, based on the huge transfer fee that we have put on him, because I think reportedly we want around between 150 or 160 million pounds, and obviously, these are figures that Real Madrid are not willing to meet. I think they are still negotiating about a potential fee, but I think now Real Madrid have come up with a new plan, to try and lure Paul Pogba away from Manchester United, as I updated you yesterday. So now, reportedly, it says Real Madrid are willing to offer up to 3 of their players in a bid to sign Paul Pogba from Manchester United, and obviously then 3 players that were mentioned was Gareth Bale, James Rodriguez and Keylor Navas, of course. Now, whether Manchester United would be willing to go along with this, I do not know. I think the vast majority of Manchester United fans would want to see Bale as part of the deal with Paul Pogba, because like I said, I don't want Gareth Bale at Manchester United, because like I said, he's too inconsistent now, plus he's aging up, he's nearly 30 years of age, he is on the decline, as Gareth Bale. If he'd have asked me a couple of years about Bale, I probably would have took him at Manchester United, because we do know the rumours have continued to persist, linking Bale, with Manchester United, since 2013. So the rumours have, gone on since, the David Moyes era, but I don't want Bale at Manchester United. Obviously, Real Madrid don't want, Bale there now. Obviously, Zinedine Zidane declared that Bale has no future at the club, and Zinedine Zidane obviously, confirmed that Gareth Bale is no longer in his plans at Real Madrid. I think from, Gareth Bale's perspective, he's intending on spending the rest of his career with Real Madrid. There has been rumours that he could make a return to the Premier League, but like I said, I don't want him in Manchester United, nearly 30 years of age, on the decline, too injury prone as well, sustained a hell of a lot of injuries as Bale. I think he's still got 3 years left on his contract with Real Madrid, but I think either way, with Bale, without being, talking about Bale, getting rid of him, Real Madrid are not going to be able to get rid of Gareth Bale permanently. I think they're going to find it very, very difficult to get rid of Bale permanently, based on his substantial wages and that, because I think Bale must be on around £600,000 a week, is it, something like that. So I think they're going to find it extremely hard, to get rid of him permanently. This is why there was talks quite a few weeks ago in the press and that, saying that, he could go to Tottenham on loan, or Real Madrid were considering letting him go on the free, based on his substantial wages. And obviously, discarding any swap deal anywhere, in terms of the transfer fees and all that, Gareth Bale, in terms of the transfer fees, Real Madrid would not recoup the initial £85 million that they did pay for him from Tottenham back in 2013. They could still maybe get 50 or 55 million, but they wouldn't recoup the initial £85 million that they did pay for him from Tottenham back in 2013. Bale can play on the left, Bale can play him on the right, but Real Madrid do not want him there. And obviously, Ronaldo left Real Madrid last summer, and obviously, then it was Bale's job, to step up to the plate and all that, but he failed to do that, did Bale. Even though his injury injury prone, Bale. You know, his ratio's still very, very good his ratio's still very, very good. I think he's played 231 games for Real Madrid, and I think he has scored 100. I think he scored about 102 goals in 231 games for Real Madrid. In his 6 years with Real Madrid as well, I think he's won about 13 major honours, including 4 Champions Leagues. But yeah, he had a lot of experience playing in the Premier League. You know, when he was younger, you know, with Tottenham, because he did have 6 good years with Tottenham. Did Bale, but I wouldn't like to see Bale as part of the deal with Pogba. James Rodriguez, I don't think James Rodriguez is bad. I think he's on loan with Bayern Munich at the moment. It's James Rodriguez. You know, he can play as an attacking mid. He can also play as a winner. You know, can James Rodriguez. I think Man United inquired about James Rodriguez's services a couple of years ago and all that, because the rumours of him leaving Real Madrid. But he did join Bayern Munich in 2017, but he joined them on a 2-year loan spell, and I think his 2-year loan spell with Bayern Munich is initially, you know, coming to an end. So I think, no, James Rodriguez is set to return to Real Madrid. But James Rodriguez has still got quite a lot of development in him. I think he's 27. He's actually nearly 28 years of age now, James Rodriguez. So that's another player reportedly that Real Madrid are willing to offer. There's also been talks as well about Isco from Real Madrid. He also, you know, got mentioned in the Daily Mail. But like I said, I really, really like Isco, but I just don't see how he would fit our system at Manchester United, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. And obviously, Isco... you know, with Isco not being part of any swap deal, you know, he's going to probably cost you over £100 million, is Isco, of course. And like I said, I wouldn't be keen on us, you know, spending over £100 million on Isco. I probably wouldn't like to see him as part of the deal with Paul Pogba, you know, Isco, because I just don't think he'd fit in our system at Manchester United. I think Isco is around 27 now, is he? I think he's about 27 years of age. Obviously, he's never played in the Premier League, obviously. He's obviously spent the entirety of his career in Spain. You know, he's been, you know, with Real Madrid 6 years, of course. I think he's played about 277 games for Real Madrid, but he has been subjected to quite a lot of transfer speculation as Isco, you know, based on, you know, his you know, limited appearances, you know, this season, because last season should I say, you know, based on his limited appearances, because the majority of last season his appearances, you know, did come on the bench, so he was struggling for game time throughout the course of last season. Was Isco. I think Real Madrid paid around £27 million for him. I think it was around 27, or was it £30 million for him from Malaga, you know, back in 2013. I think he's predominantly an attacking midfielder, but I don't see how he would fit in our system at Manchester United. But he's reportedly, you know, being mentioned. Also, Keylor Navas has also, you know, being mentioned. Obviously, you know, we'd see Keylor Navas as an actual replacement for David De Gea. So also, you know, he's been mentioned. So reportedly, Real Madrid are willing to sacrifice up to 3 players to get a deal over the line for Paul Pogba. So Real Madrid, from their perspective, are not keen on a straight cash payment for Paul Pogba, because they're not willing to pay up to the £160 million for him. But it's still reports are saying that Juventus are interested in re-signing Pogba, as it came out last week, saying that Juventus were willing to offer Paul Dybala and Alexandro as part of the deal for Paul Pogba. But obviously Paul Pogba was subjected to a lot of transfer speculation last year, you know, based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho. Obviously, you know, he was linked to his former club Juventus. He was linked to a move to Barcelona, and obviously, you know, Paul Pogba got his best wishes. You know, one of his best wishes when Jose Mourinho got sacked from the club, and yeah, but you know, he hasn't really exceeded expectation levels at Manchester United as we all thought he would have done. You know, regarding, you know, what he did at Juventus, you know, we all thought, you know, he hasn't really, you know, exceeded expectation levels at Manchester United. He did well in his first 3 months. He did well in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first 3 months, you know, did Paul Pogba, you know, he played really, really well. But yeah, I still think he wants to make the move to Real Madrid. So now, reportedly, Real Madrid are willing to offer up to 3 of their players. And more news to give you an update on the news about David De Gea as well. It's going to be looking very imminent. He's going to be leaving Manchester United. According to recent reports now, we want around £75 million for David De Gea. That is reportedly now our asking price for him, because I think we still believe we can get around £75 million for De Gea. Obviously, at full value, I think for a goalkeeper, David De Gea is worth around £100 million. But obviously, we're not going to get that for De Gea, because obviously, you know, he's in the final year of his contract. Obviously, you know, we've been in the process of trying to get David De Gea a new contract for about 18 months now, is it? Or something like that. But obviously we haven't come to an agreement, because reportedly David De Gea is demanding that he wants around He wants around £350,000 a week from Manchester United, and obviously, Manchester United are not willing to meet his wage demands. But we do know Real Madrid have been long admirers of him. Obviously, PSG obviously, trapped in their interest in David De Gea. It did basically say that PSG, willing to offer around £60 million for De Gea. It also said, that PSG are intending on getting him on a free transfer next year, but we can't let him go on a free transfer next year because obviously, that would be a calamity. So we need to cash in for him this summer. He's been a long servant here, as I said. He's been here 8 years. He has made over 300 appearances in all competitions. He's won everything here domestically. He's won the club's player of the year, 4 times in the last 6 years as De Gea. And, hasn't really done much wrong at Manchester United. He did make costly mistakes, towards the back end of, last season. Obviously, I think that was mainly to do with the contractual situation. So, for me, it looks like David De Gea is going to be going. But like I said, I think if De Gea goes, we are going to need to buy a goalkeeper to replace him. I don't think it's in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans to buy a goalkeeper to replace him. I think he's willing to promote Sergio Romero as our number one goalkeeper. He's willing to promote Sergio Romero as our number one goalkeeper. But like I said, I don't know if Sergio Romero is reliable enough yet, to become our number one goalkeeper. I know we've got Dean Henderson, but I think Dean Henderson is too inexperienced at the moment. I think, he needs to gain a bit more experience. Obviously, Dean Henderson has been out on loan. But yeah, Dean Henderson, I think he needs to get a bit more experience. I think he's actually been on loan with Sheffield United as Dean Henderson. But anyway, it's looking very, very likely that David De Gea is going to be leaving the club. But like I said, it's looking likely Matta's going to be going as well. Sanchez, he should be, leaving Manchester United. Obviously, based on his substantial wages. Obviously, we can't get rid of Sanchez permanently. Obviously, it came out a couple of weeks ago saying that Sanchez's agent, was in Italy, and it says Juventus and Inter Milan had expressed their interest in Sanchez. It did say they'd held negotiations with Alexis Sanchez's agent, and I think it didn't say, he initially agreed the pay cut. Reportedly Man United are willing to let him go on a long season loan. We're willing to pay half of his wages off, but he has been so inconsistent for Manchester United as Alexis Sanchez, and he's obviously one of the problematic players that does need to leave the club. There has been talk saying could he go back to Arsenal. If you ask the majority of Arsenal fans, would they take Sanchez back? Obviously, the majority of the Arsenal fans would say no. But he has no future at Manchester United anyway. He's 30 years of age. He has lost that yard of players, and I think since he's come to Manchester United, he has become injury prone. He's sustained a number of injuries since he's come to United. But obviously, Sanchez hasn't replicated what he did at Arsenal, hasn't replicated what he did at Barcelona, of course, when he was younger. So he hasn't exceeded expectation levels at Manchester United. So it's very essential as well that we do get rid of him. Obviously, you all know that Daniel James is going to be coming to Manchester United. Was it supposed to be finalised there last week? I think it was supposed to be announced last week, his transfer to Manchester United. But either way, we do know anywhere that it's looking very, very likely that Daniel James is coming out to Manchester United, because obviously, an initial £15 million fee has obviously been agreed, with add-ons included that do rise the deal. I think with add-ons included, it rises up to around £20 million, of course. So we do know Daniel James is coming in. But like I was saying about Adrian Rabiot, like I said, he reportedly now wants the Liverpool move and all that. Bruno Fernandes also has come out and admitted that he does like Liverpool, but I still say Manchester United, having the tendency to get a deal over the line for him. Like I said, we want a deal finalised there for Bruno Fernandes sometime this week, like I said. And and that's mainly everything to update you guys. And so anyway, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribing, as always, and take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.